Welcome to all of you, and welcome to all the speakers, panelists. Uh, Special warm welcome to Rama Madam, who has been instrumental in driving this entire session and driving all of us and making sure that all these sessions happen during the celebrations that we call it, as we call November every year as the quality month. And she has been the driving force of all these sessions that's been happening in the past, and they'll be happening, in fact, the entire month. So today we are focusing more on biopharma, biomedical, medical devices, and that is what we are all talking about. As I speak, my name is Bhupesh, and I am part of consulting as well as CCC, where we have been organizing this programs in the past, and I think that is what pushes us to keep organizing this for the industry in the future also. And along with us, we have Mr. Somnath Basu. I'll just share my screen so we can quickly know who our panelists are. Myself, followed by Mr. Somnath Basu, who has worked at CDL Calcutta as a drug analyst for approx 7 years. Then he joined CDSU to work as a reviewer for clinical and the non-clinical works. Similarly, he has worked in vaccine documents for over 6 years. Then he worked in dossier review for blood products, medical devices, rRNA technology, derived drugs for another 7 years. He has been instrumental and he has attended various international conferences on CDER, WHO headquarters, Geneva, PMDA, Japan. He is also attended as a speaker on various domestic and international seminars. He carries with him and background with industry and chemistry background. So welcome, Mr. Somnath Basu. On panelists, we have Dr. Karna Patel, who is the founder of Salvo India. He has he has an educational background in dentistry from Kurg Institute. He specialized in oral and maxillofacial surgery, and according his professional journey has been from a surgeon in head and neck oncology as a leading hospital in Ahmedabad. From there, he has become an entrepreneur, where he started his journey in 2017 from Hershey Care, and then he has founded Salvo in 2020, which has been manufacturing now workwear, healthcare for healthcare professionals for various industries. Then we have Dr. Alpesh Patel, who comes from a very different background. We're talking about now about molecular biology in with specialization in cytogenetics from Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. He has worked at a senior scientist level and a research center. His research contributions include he has led two national research projects and participated in six research projects of focusing on human genetics. He has delivered expert talks and participated in panel discussions in various national and international conferences. Then we have another very senior person, Mr. Nitin, who has been a QA leader and has around 20 plus years of experience and quality assurance, quality division, and demonstrated his ability for identifying the suppliers, routing the suppliers, and getting them approved for various industries from API to formulations, excipients, raw materials, and his audit experience includes more than 200 plus suppliers in domestic and international markets. Another senior person, Mr. Sunil Kulshrestha, who experiences over 31 years of experience in healthcare industry with the background from growing to expanding to strategic goal achievement for various industries. His expertise has been business development, marketing, business operations, and heading companies into multi domains and multi countries. Key leadership skills at the top. He has been leading teams with multiple backgrounds and making companies profitable, where that has been his core in healthcare sector. Then we have Mr. Nishant, who is a CEO and a founder of Life and Limb uh, Private Limited, which is basically he is proficient in engineering and manufacturing. And then we have he is proficient in analysis and design. He's a research fellow at Engineering for Change by ASME. And his current role is that he is a CEO at Life and Limb AI, medtech startup incubated at IIT Kanpur. And Life and Limb AI works on innovative healthcare solutions. So that is what Consultants Consortium of Chennai and MSSC collaborates and brings to you all. So I hope you get value out of the time that you spend with us, and you get good interaction with the speakers. So I am stopping here. And to start with, I'll request Mr. Somnath Basu to start with his presentation, and then will be followed by the panel discussion for all of us.
Thank you very much. Um, is it
Welcome,
visible?
sir. Yeah.
My slide is visible here,
Yeah. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
but I have to go to the
Full
slide
screen.
mode. Full
Yes,
screen
full
slide
screen. Yes,
now. Is it okay?
yes, very clear, sir. Very clear.
And I am moving. Is it okay?
Yeah, we can see that, sir. Yes,
Moving.
yes.
So nice to meet you, ma'am, on your call. But exactly I could understand later on that the subject matter is related to, as you forwarded to me, it is for the GMP, biopharma and biomedical also you are saying. I presented one um, s- these slides in a biopharma conclave at Mumbai. So I am using that slide only. Maybe please pardon me if anything, or you can ask me. I will answer the questions. If anything is seems to be irrelevant in this manner, then you can ask me. Sorry, again, stop sharing. Hmm? What happened? Now you are viewing the slides.
Yes, we can see that. We can see that. Resume it's saying, just maybe that.
Resume.
Yeah, resume and then full screen mode.
So
Yeah,
as you know,
full
as you
screen, sir.
know,
Sir, full screen mode, please.
full screen I did it, but it's not coming.
No, we don't see that. How about others? I don't see that.
It's moving, no?
Mm,
Not
no,
moving.
no,
You have
it's
to
not.
double click. You have to double click on the left hand side of this. Yeah.
No, now slide so.
Now it is clear. Yes, sir. Yeah, yes.
Okay, but this is not why. Actually, some blocks are coming here, which I am not being able to uh, replace. Uh,
Is there an
so,
auto mode or something? I don't think so, right?
no.
Right. Okay.
Not moving now. Hmm.
Sorry.
Hmm. So, as you know, that pharma industry has certain phases and significance. First, it was a natural medications, Syncona, chamomile, and St. John's wort, ginseng, ginkgo biloba. In our country, also we had the Ayurvedic medicines, and that was the crude way of doing medicines in the and treatment of the disease. Now, chemical-based medicines also came up in during Second World War. It all started with the Adolf Hitler's many steps taken, and there were a lot of human onslaught happened during that period. So anyway, and there was a ajo dye type things were happening in the Europe in chemical area. So from those ajo dyes and derivatives, they tried and many medicines came up. Basically the paracetamol, as we know all, that is the oldest chemical molecule, and before that Syncona and the quinine for malaria, aspirin also a old one, but these drugs like furosemide, alprazolam, zolpidem, all these came up later on. Now biopharmaceutical, if we see, that is the rDNA product that came in 1982 by US FDA. My slide is actually okay. So third breakthrough since 1980s that began with the RDNA insulin 1982, and then many other drug cancer medicines, all are monoclonal antibodies. They have come up. Adalimumab, rituximab, all know. Now large molecule introduction in the therapy armamentarium that came in the versus the small molecule. That large molecule actually does not enter into the cells, the human cells, bodies, and so peripherally it works. But anyway, large molecule mostly they are given in the injectable format, and they all biologicals are mostly in the injectable format. Insulin you will never find in the oral tablets. Although Biocon they started innovating some technologies to develop the rDNA insulin in oral formulation, but it was not successful that time. Now, biosimilar and generic medicines is the active ingredients of the generic drugs, and similarly more straightforward to copy, but biologics generally cannot be copied exactly. The issue is the batch to batch variations in biological or biopharmaceutical is very high. Biologics as a response modifier in the disease. So biologics in clinicians armamentarium started in the middle of 20th century. And we find here some of the molecule one is that in the streptokinase is a molecule where the heart attack happens within 6 hours. The patient has to take into hospitals or clinic, and then he has to give this tumor necrosis TNF alpha protein, that is that streptokinase or tenecteplase, that is being manufactured now by Genova Biopharma, is a subsidiary of the MQR Pharmaceuticals. So, and then etanercept is widely used in the field of the rheumatoid arthritis. So these are the biological or biopharma molecules. Now, what historical events actually started this? With historical engraving that shows how the medicines initial stage in the 1900, beginning of the 1900 or 1906, around that phase, horses were injected with the toxins. Say it's a snake venom antitoxin you have to prepare, you have to inject into the horse, and then horses are bled. There's this blood collected in a pool, and then it is filtrated, but very crude way. But in Germany, the Bering, together with his colleagues, Wernix, they and made the Robert Koch's laboratory in Berlin. So there is a history of biological development. Then you see the oral crude vials were available at that stage of time. So beginning of the biological products therapy in 1891, first successful therapy of the serum treatment of a child suffering from the diphtheria. Actually, that time diphtheria was also a dreaded disease almost. 50,000 children in Germany, they used to die in diphtheria. So Paul Ehrlich, in German bacteriologist, he successfully enriched the diphtheria antitoxin from horse blood, as I told. And now Germany, there is a biological standard laboratory. Its name is given after this scientist, that Paul Ehrlich. In 1854 to 1915, he survived. So there they organized this laboratory in Berlin, and by sheep and later horses, these blood filtrations used to happen, and it was a successful story. Now these are some old photos of the diphtheria antitoxin, how they were made it cork, and with a cork, and the antisera used to be sold at that point of time. 1940, this is the purified insulin from animal pig's pancreas. Actually, insulin is a hormone that in our human body we have, and also all animals they have. This is help in the glucose metabolism. So the glucose metabolism, this insulin, they used to take out from, first it was a discovery that insulin actually metabolized the sugar, and therefore type 1 diabetes people in the beginning of 1900, many people used to die. So with this pig's pancreas extracted insulin, they started therapy till 1940. And you know, one big company, Eli Lilly from Indiana, USA, they started selling this pancreas extracted insulin. And after that, 1940 and this 1982, means almost 42 years after, the insulin, human insulin rDNA product came. And you can say this is the beginning of the or start of the biopharma industry. So not very long way back, it is in 1982. In fact, that time we were studying in universities, college I was. So human insulin, humulin made by genetically engineered, there is a, always in all biopharma recombinant product, there will be a host cell where the genetic manipulation to be done. I mean, gene has to be inserted like insulin gene. There is a technique. That technique I am not going to describe here, but there is a technique that gene responsible for generation of the insulin in human body or animal, that is collected, and that insulin is somehow inserted into the E. coli, and that E. coli is a bacteria which is available in our gut, large intestine, and sometimes in small intestine also. It comes out with the feces, human feces. So that E. coli, when cultured in a fermentation chamber with under controlled environment, a huge number of E. coli will be produced, and automatically, without knowledge of the E. coli itself, this insulin protein, which is our desired protein, that will come out. Sometimes it is, some proteins are come out in the fermentation chamber fluid, or sometimes it is remain in the E. coli. So then we have to kill those bacteria and their bodies, I mean the bacterial bodies which are not for use, that has to be discarded and the fluids are collected. Then there are a lot of filtration procedures that happens. So that's how the insulin is collected, and rDNA insulin. So what is the benefit of rDNA insulin over this pancreas, animal pancreas extracted DNA, sorry, insulin, is that the contamination is less and there is less chance of the viral transition from the animal bodies to the human bodies, because rDNA products we are generating only on the E. coli. And there are many other products in these slides it is given, that is erythropoietin, epoetin. Erythropoietin, you know, in the chronic renal failure it is used. So this is also a blockbuster medicine. Now this kind of monoclonal antibody, you know, the growth is given, CAGR is almost 7.7% in 22 to 32, that is the estimated growth factor. And by 32, the US dollar 570 billion it may reach. This is the industry status of the biopharma. Approximately 155 biopharma products are approved in USA and EU by, so it's a survey from the Gary Walls survey during 2014 to 2018. And this market research I have collected from statistical market research company, multinational company itself. Then insulin is basically a very simple product. It has 30 amino acid and 21 amino acid. Those who are from little bit know about the biological sciences, the amino acid you must have known, that's the building block of the protein. So here these building blocks are written in a 3-letter words like valine, glutamine, alanine, leucine, tyrosine, this way. And two chains are collected with the sulfur bond. So why I am repeatedly telling insulin, because that is the genesis of the biopharmaceuticals, the modern biopharmaceuticals basically. And they are the discoverer of the insulin in USA, James Colip, Charles Best, and Frederick G. Banting. Insulin was discovered by Banting and Charles Best and MacLeod at the University of the Toronto. Their dogs are here. They tested with the, it is, I am talking about not about the exactly the rDNA product, I am talking about the insulin. Insulin itself was discovered, that insulin can cure a type 1 diabetics patient. So that was discovered in that way, and they given the Nobel Prize also. Now I am skipping these. So this is the different stages of the insulin vials and old vials and new vials, etc. And this is kept in the reference in the National Museum of the American History. So this is the rDNA technology production of insulin. What I told just a few minutes ago, that recombinant DNA, you can see here that E. coli bacteria, a sketch is given. Within this there is a small plasmid available. In that plasmid, the blue color part is the recombinant DNA, which has been made scientifically from collecting from the human body, and they are responsible for the insulin productions. So in a fermentation chamber with stirrers, it is also sketch. And the inclusion body means the protein which is desirable protein, that is kept in the, I mean that is generated in the E. coli body. So E. coli body has to be lysed, means lysis, breaking of the bodies, and then the body parts are taken out by centrifugations. Then along with other proteins, the insulin is coming out and it comes as a pro-insulin also. Then filtration and other processes are going on. So this is the biopharma. So biopharma, basically, if we want to define, this is a subset of pharmaceutical industry that involves production and manufacturing or extraction of therapeutics through biological organisms. It may be human cell, it may be pigs or fungi or anything else, or a bacteria like that. So biopharmaceutical drugs actually it contribute to the vaccine industry, human and veterinary, and poultry vaccine, cattle vaccines, and dogs now is a big business. And antibody treatments, antibody polyclonal and monoclonal, two types available, blood derived therapeutic products, immunoglobulin. This is in the trauma cases or surgery cases. In the defense, when there is a war going on, this immunoglobulin, albumin, and are a lot of use, a lot of demand also. And biopharmaceutical also include the cell implants and the gene therapeutics, that is in the and also the stem cell therapies are coming up. And there is a CRISPR technology for cancer therapeutics that is also coming up, and other monoclonal antibodies for cancer therapies are already in the biopharma sector. So it is a reference from the Yale University OCS. Now, so these are the biopharma companies currently available: Amgen, Intas Biopharma, Ahmedabad, Zydus Biologicals, Hetero Biologicals, Biocon in Bangalore. Biocon has a big facility in Malaysia that is even bigger than the Bangalore facility. And Biological E Limited, Hyderabad, they are in the vaccines. Bharat Biotech is vaccine, Covaxin during COVID time, and Serum Institute, Poonawalla, Mr. Poonawalla, Cyrus Poonawalla, other Poonawalla. Serum Institute, they are also in the vaccine, in the Hadapsar area in Pune. Panacea Biotech, they are also in the vaccine. Santa Biotech, now it is with Sanofi. And these are the companies: Amgen, Gilead, Genentech, CRISPR Therapeutics, Moderna. They are the manufacturers in biological biopharmaceuticals in USA and other countries. So these are right hands are Indian companies. Now, so this is a chart where 50 products of the 2014 based on the global sales it is given. And in this chart, as I told, that for the biopharma productions, it's not a chemical, so it requires a biological organism. That may be a fungus, that may be a virus, that may be a bacteria. And bacteria here, E. coli. So red colored, you are seeing that E. coli. CHO is the Chinese hamster ovarian cell line. Pneumococcal strain, different host cells are given. Means these are the biological things where you have to manufacture. Actually, there are a lot of things in the GMP also. Good manufacturing practices are adopted in biopharmaceuticals manufacturing. And nowadays, many companies like Sartorius, they are come out with in biopharmaceutical, there are two words very too much coined. One is the upstream, another is the downstream. So upstream, downstream, both are now being automated and programmed through computers. Like Sartorius is a company, they are manufacturing the huge production unit. It's a single unit where you can give the input, the insulin manufacturing E. coli inside at the one place, and in your right hand, the yield will come out with a automated computerized programmed system. So in this chart, basically the things are given like the brand names of the product. Like Lucentis, the first one, it is this medicine is required in the macular degeneration in old age eyes, and that is ranibizumab is the generic name, and it is marketed by Novartis. But now ranibizumab is being manufactured in India by Intas Biopharma, and Zydus, I think they are also manufacturing, but they are capable to manufacture. Some maybe in the DCGI office for approval stage like that. So, and then epoetin alpha, epoagen, I told it is also a blockbuster because nowadays kidney disease are more, so chronic kidney failure, this epoagen is at random, it is being used, erythropoietin. and the right hand, the red color, CHO, you can see it written CHO, that is Chinese hamster ovarian cell line. In this cell, this is the biological cell, or you can say this is the machine where you can develop the biopharmaceuticals with the upstream and downstream processes. And because of the technological innovations, both the streams have now been automated with a computer commands. So GMP is also taken care in that way. Biopharma manufacturing companies are large, obviously. They should have the capital, market capital should be very high, so that they can sustain their expenditures on various issues. And mostly these are stock listed, share market listed companies, and they have a rigid hierarchical structure. Well divided groups shows progress in the slow progress in the discovery approval, and highly regulated. This area is really highly regulated, not like medical device catheter manufacturing, or some of the products which are in the medical devices like gloves manufacturing, or not that much regulated. But here it is too much regulated from the beginning, raw material to not only raw material, if you look at the CHO or the E. coli, you have to characterize whether to give you to document it that it's really E. coli, and it is potentially capable to manufacture the desired protein, which for I am claiming. So there are a lot of regulations are there. And startups look to be acquired directly by the large biopharmaceuticals. In USA, this is happening. Most of the things are segmented, and like development of the E. coli carrying the insulin gene, that is, let's say, developed by a startup company, and that is being taken up by Amgen, and later on the whole thing's product is being sold to Eli Lilly for selling. So contract research organizations are more prevalent in this biopharma area, and hiring a lot of software and IT people, that is also required, as well as scientists. So this is the scenario in the biopharma. And now regulation of the biopharma. Obviously, US FDA web page, you can find here the biopharma biologic guidance. This is a, if you open in the US FDA, or directly if you put on the Google that biological guidance document, so you will get it, US FDA, and many blood guidances and cellular and gene therapy guidances and allergic guidances, even allergic diagnostics and allergen treatment also, there is a guideline in US FDA. But if we compare with CDSU, not many guidelines we could prepare here. Guidance documents describes the FDA's interpretation of our policy on a regulatory issue. It is, and all these are related to the 21 CFR, as all know. And there are various sections. One of the section here mentioned, it is 10.115/B. So this is the regulatory system of the US FDA. Now, this till July, I could understand that US FDA in the biologic area, biologics, actually it is controlled by CBER, Center for Biologic Evaluation and Research, CBER. I went there in the Maryland, there is an office, and they gave an international seminar. So from India, I was one of the representatives. So that was in 2008, long back. So what I find, and they are dynamic, this web page is very dynamic, and it is continuously moving, changing their guidelines. So as on July 2024, we find here that they have developed these blood guidances, cellular gene therapy guidances, tissue guidances, and vaccines and related biological product guidances, and xenotransplantation guidance. This is also coming under biologics. Xenotransplantation means, let's say, a pig's heart valve is transplanted in human body. So that is called the xenotransplantation. So that kind of research is also going on in USA, and stem cell therapy is there. Now I'm coming to the EMA, that is European Medicine Agency, their biologic guideline, what they say. So you can go to the home page and then home regulatory, then you see the research and development phase, then scientific guidelines are coming here. And there they are writing, European Medicine Agency, that scientific guidelines on biological human medicines help applicants prepare the marketing authorization applications, and guidelines reflect a harmonized approach of the EU member states. EU member states means France, Germany, or Poland, Bulgaria, and Italy, everybody there, Austria, all those companies. all those countries and Spain, etc. So this is the European Medicine Agency. They are the authority in giving pharmaceutical and biological medicine approval in Europe. And then EMA biological guideline, another page is here. They are saying that agency strongly encourages applicants and marketing authorization holders to follow these guidelines. Applicants need to justify deviations from the guidelines. If some manufacturer wants to get deviations from these guidelines, they have to justify it scientifically with the supportive literature from the published document somewhere. So fully in their applications and at the time of the submission, before that, they should seek scientific advices to discuss any proposed deviations during the medicine development. Actually, European Medicine Agency and US FDA and Canada Health also, they have a option that if any startup or manufacturer wants to have a discussion with them, they can scientifically take their appointment and they can do the discussions for further progression in their regulatory pathway. Now I am coming to the, so these are the, and this you look at the red color tick mark, that plasma derived medicinal product is one of the guideline, and there is another point, plasma master file. This is basically in Spain. There is a big company, Grifols. Grifols is a very huge company. They are master in the blood products, and they collect human blood, and blood filtration is a big process, and very critical products are coming out of the human blood collection. So this also belongs to a biopharma industry. So, and there, like our plant master file, they have to maintain the plasma master file. So their guidance is given by European Medicine Agency, and stability guidance is there. Now vaccine itself is a big no, we all get vaccinated during our childhood days by triple antigen, and then chicken pox, now hepatitis B, hepatitis A, and pregnant ladies, they are vaccinated with rubella vaccines. And now MR vaccines is given up to the 5 years of age children, mumps and rubella, and then mumps, measles, MMR vaccine also there, triple. So there are a lot of things, vaccines also going on. And latest one is the COVID, which we adult got during the COVID time. So vaccine also belongs to the biological divisions, and but vaccine manufacturing processes are different. It is not that a monolithic manufacturing practice is not there in vaccine. Sometimes it is the viruses are inactivated, and then filtration is done and then formulated with buffer solution, phosphate buffer or acetate buffer, and then put into the vials. So, and all these processes are worked under the clean room facilities and under sterile conditions. And there are A, B, C, D categories, risk categories of these sterilization or clean room facilities. But this is not my topic here, GMP. So the basic idea in sterility is that the filling of the formulation should be under the A by B category. The A is the highest stringent category. There should not be any microbes generation in the A and B category, where the vials are filled by the formulations. So that is the concept of the biopharmaceuticals. It is highly regulated. I think injection manufacturing facility after aviation industry, that is the most stringently regulated industry, the injectable manufacturing, and all biopharma products, blood products or vaccines are injectable. So this is the second stringently regulated area in the biopharmaceutical. So a lot of investment is a important things here in the biopharma. Now EMA guideline, you can see it, pre-authorization evaluation of the medicine is done. It's like CDSUA is a regulator, like that EMA is a regulator, and their guidelines, they are often circulating. Biosimilar, what we call biosimilar, we have very often heard the word biosimilar. Basically, why we are talking it similar, it is not exact, because biological products has a batch to batch variation potential. Because of the variabilities in the production area, E. coli itself is a variable thing. And when you are generating E. coli, multiplying the E. coli in numbers, the stirring facilities and the pH and the temperature, the nutrients in the fermenter, that may be at the down below it is more, and then up level it is not much. So with all these synchronizations, the yield becomes the harmonized other. So there is, but in biosimilar production there is a variability is too much, and that is why it is called the similar, not exact. Paracetamol you can make exactly similar, and paracetamol standards are given in the pharmacopoeia, Indian pharmacopoeia, US pharmacopoeia, British pharmacopoeia. Likewise, many other drug, like we often the type 2 diabetics, people are taking the metformin. Metformin standards available in the BP blood, British pharmacopoeia or Indian pharmacopoeia, Japan pharmacopoeia. Here also in the insulin there is a standards, but still it is the concept is that in all regulatory side that there is a possibility of batch to batch variations. Therefore, the inspectors from the regulatory bodies, they look at with that perspectives always in the production of the biosimilar or bioproducts. Now, physical, chemical and biological properties are highly similar to reference medicines is the definition of the biosimilar. And there should not be any differences in the clinical performances. So there is a drug like somatropin, a pituitary hormone drug. Somatropin is manufactured by, earlier it was by Sandoz, and now somatropin also manufactured by some other companies. So the innovator drug, that molecule is Sandoz. So you have to prove the clinical performance um, is almost similar with the Sandoz innovating drug. That is, the no differences are expected in clinical performances. That is how the regulatory concept goes on. And this is another definition from the US FDA, that what is biological products. It can be a virus, it can be a therapeutic serum, it can be a toxin, antitoxin, vaccine, blood components, derivative, allergic products, etc. All comes under the biopharmaceuticals. So again, biosimilar, there are two definitions more, one from the DBT CDSCO and another from the US FDA. Just look at it is, so basically three terms are again coined here, that is quality, safety and efficacy of the product should be similar, not exact but similar, and clinically meaningful differences should not be there in the biologicals. So it's fastest growing medicine in USA, and substantial account for substantial portion of the healthcare costs. Biosimilar offers more affordable treatment options. Biologic price, this is an act in USA, created an abbreviated approval pathway. Abbreviated pathway actually reduce the cost for registering the products in USA. And what is the benefit with out of that? Because there are many companies, insurance, health insurance, they want to reduce the expenditure on their employees. So if they get the similar product, similar effective, similar quality and similarly safe, so they are eager to get that kind of molecule. And that is how our Indian biopharmaceutical companies, Heterobiologicals, Panacea, Serum Institute, Zydus Biologicals, Biocon, and Intas Biopharma, they are growing at good space. So these are the regulatory bodies in other countries. Some of the names are already I have mentioned, PMDA, etc. This is our CDSCO homepage, where RDNA tab you can get under the biologics section, and just below that there is a stem cell and cell based products system is also there. But one thing is very sure, how we regulate. Actually, all vaccines and RDNA products in CDSCO, we are defining all, because these are risk factors, highest risk carrying molecules. Therefore, we have placed these molecules under new drug definition. And suppose somebody wants to manufacture now DPT. DPT is a very old molecule, old vaccine. It may be around 50 or 60 years old vaccines now in India. But if I want to manufacture, it will be coming under new drugs, and I have to prove through clinical trial that my DPT vaccine is equally generating similar amount of antibodies in adults first. First is adult. So that is why these molecules, this kind of molecules are always defined under new drug. New drug is specially defined in the new drug clinical trial rule book. Book is there. Inside that book, there is a new drug term, and why this term is being used, because that it shows that we have to stringently regulate these molecules. And now, what is new drug? This is the definition, and you can get it into the web page of CDSCO. Nothing to copy from here. So it is always there. There are many more molecules are under the new drug definitions. And how these are all regulatory things. What is similar biologic? This I have collected from the web page. Now CDSCO has a central inspection plan. They always publish it. This also you can get on the web page of CDSCO. And just for a glimpse of this is in the public domain. What CDSU actually doing on biopharma in the inspections area, that is reflected here. You can scroll down, you can get all the information here. Some of the things here also missing in CDSU side, which should be, they should improve in that way, giving more information on various parameters. The indications are not fully mentioned here. Now this is the guideline from CDSCO, and this guideline is going to be changed very soon. I came to know that this is a very long, the old guideline, 15th August 2016. It was published by Department of Biotechnology and Central Drug Standard Control Organization on guidelines of similar biologics. This is going to be changed. Now I am skipping this guidance documents. There is another guidance document that is from CDSCO officers for quality control, quality monitoring of the imported biological products, including biosimilars in the port offices, because our ports like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Calcutta, and Visakhapatnam also we have an office in CDSCO. So whatever is coming, it is their responsibility to ensure that all documents are accompanying during its import. Certificate of analysis, batch release certificate, proper labeling and package inserts, etc. of the product, because ultimately those products which will be placed in the market, Indian market. So the safety and efficacy of the product is important. Sometimes at random they send the molecules to for testing, but unfortunately we could not develop good capacity in the biological product testing area, like paracetamol or metformin or glimepiride or many other chemical drugs. It is being tested for dissolution test and assay identifications, sulfated as etc. As per pharmacopoeia. But for biologicals, because it is the training skill development very much required. Only Noida, NIB, National Institute of Biologicals in Noida, they are testing some molecules, but not much. That's a area, it's a gray area where our capacity building is not going very fast. And this is the mandatory testing requirement at the NIB Noida. It is from their web page we have taken, and they are testing currently the recombinant insulin and erythropoietin and granulocyte colony stimulating factor. This is used in the cancer, the third one, and erythropoietin in chronic kidney failure, and insulin, as you know, it's a type 1 diabetics, the remedy. Mane type 1 diabetics people survive only on this recombinant insulin only. So nowadays, even type 2 diabetes in severe cases, the doctors are prescribing this insulin instead of the medicine, metformin medicine. So this is the NIB Noida mandatory testing requirements, that these products from biological side, these products are, they are testing now. Although all parameters, I doubt that although all parameters they can test or not, their capacity. Some development has been made recently. Now, Indian Pharmacopoeia, what Indian Pharmacopoeia is saying, this Pharmacopoeia is a standard book where the medicinal standards are given. And this Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission is working under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, and their office is in Ghaziabad. So 2022 is the latest publication from Indian Pharmacopoeia. Here we find monographs of the biopharmaceuticals in IP. These are the monographs, like one is the diphtheria, tetanus. Mostly here I am finding only vaccines area only. And last, I think second page, yeah. All these are vaccines only, pharmacopoeial standards. Even up to yellow fever vaccines or measles vaccine, this influenza vaccines, and only filgrastim follicle stimulating hormone FSH. FSH is required in infertile women, for those who are not having children. So they are treated with this follicle stimulating hormone with LH. LH also they are given, luteinizing hormone. So all this comes under the biological products. And take filgrastim and streptokinase bulk solution. Streptokinase, as I told earlier, that it is within 6 hours times it has to be given to a cardiac arrest person. Um, so these monographs are available in the Indian pharmacopoeia. I was talking about now. So in summary, I will discuss it. So CDSCO mandates is that under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, National Regulatory Authority for Drugs, they evaluate the safety, efficacy, quality of the drugs. And DBT is under Ministry of Science and Technology. They review. There is a review RCGM committee. RCGM committee look at the preclinical evaluation of the recombinant DNA derived products. And this is the structure review committee of the genetic manipulation RCGM. Their mandate is written under their rule: manufacture, use, import, export, and storage of the hazardous microorganisms. It is written in their book, their web page. And this is the homepage of the RCGM Secretariat, displaying index of the informations. And manufacturing of biologics, again schematic diagram. There are many more things. These are all technical, like master cell bank, working cell bank, media prepares. These are all various stages. One thing is very sure: in biopharmaceutical there are a lot of small segmented stages one has to cross. So if you start producing biopharmaceutical, let's say in November, you may get the yield at the end of the December, January, February, March, like that. Sometimes this also happens, because media preparation, cell culture, then in between that after cell culturing, you have to go the in process quality control, whether proper cell culture has been done or not. All these are technical systems. um, this is I said this is the upstream process, and then it is downstream process. Two process I already mentioned. And manufacturing of the biologicals always comprising of this. There are analytical programs on similar biologics. These are two common photos on monoclonal antibodies, which are often required in cancer therapy and rheumatoid arthritis also. Um, so these are the parameters, and side by side I have given some of the instrumentations like isoelectric focusing. These are all techniques: SDSPAG, HPLC, post cell protein collection. So red color things are battery of tests, the parameters what one pharmaceutical biopharmaceutical has to undergo. And side by side some machinery, equipments, and processes are given. um, so I'm skipping all these things, and there are clinical CDSCO requirements. Some form numbers are here mentioned, that submit application in CT10, then submit application in CT04 for permission to conduct clinical trial, PKPD study. Without clinical trial, there is a difference in medical device and biopharmaceutical. In biopharmaceutical, the company has to do clinical trial in Indian patients, although CDSCO is not that much stringent. Like they can recommend at the most 200 patients clinical trial, whereas USA and Europe, they do much number of patients trial. So but Japan also. But there is a provision that you have to undergo clinical trial. It's not like 510K in medical device. You can show the similarity, that too whether it is being examined or not, questionable. So either through doctors participation clinical trial you have to carry out. So there are certain forms that is mentioned in this slide. And with the various other documents required for the clinical trial, some of the things are very often coined in the common parlance of clinical trial, like investigators brochures, trial protocol, investigator consent, EC clearance, ethics committee clearance, SAE reporting and format, all those things. So pathway of the clinical trial, I'm skipping it. Take home message is there is a Sugam portal in CDSCO. Through Sugam portal, you have to get yourself registered with the user ID, password, PAN number, Aadhaar card, etc. And then you have to open the new drug approval site. New drug approval site, you can upload your documents one after another. Exactly when you open, you will get to know. And inspections are carried out at the manufacturing facilities and CT sites by the drug inspectors. Ma'am, my time is over, I think.
It's okay. Continue, sir. Just
No,
maybe
I,
another
I am
five
come to the end.
last part of
This is the
right.
last one. Yeah. So any questions I can answer? I think I can finish it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes.
Thank you for your kind attention.
Requesting the audience to post the question.
So any of the persons in the group who would like to ask to start with? So I feel this Somnath Basu has covered a very interesting and very, I'll say, the area which is very lesser known to all of us, like many of us, I'll say, especially people of our age, which is like biopharma. And it was, in fact, I came to know for the first time that probably it was 1982 when the first it was done. And as Mr. Somnath mentioned, that it is even much more stringent than the medical devices that we are making. But I feel that as manufacturers and people looking to diversify and looking for good opportunities, it could be a very new and an upcoming field, sir, right?
Biopharmaceutical, yeah, since because I joined in CDSO in 95.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I found only two pharmaceutical. One is the erythropoietin, the chronic kidney failure. It is the master drug, and the
Mm-hmm.
other one is the insulin. Insulin Novo Nordisk used to import, and Novo Nordisk is still a insulin leader, market leader in the country. And then later on, the Biocon came. Intas Biopharmaceuticals slowly developed. Then Zydus
Right.
Biologicals, they also invested. The Zydus Biologicals owner Pankaj Patel, he invested in adalimumab and rituximab. Then Dr. Reddy is there, rituximab. They came rituximab in 2007. So it is not very at the baby stage also. It has come to the adolescent stage almost. But
Okay,
now
great.
the new therapy is coming in the stem cell area, and also Reliance Life Science in their Mumbai, where that is Ravale area, they have a huge Reliance Life Science center. They also applied, I can recall, almost 12 products in the stem cell area in that during the year 2000, 2001, 2, 2002, 3 somewhere. 2000, yeah, 2003, 4 at some places. And because clinical trial is a huge area and skill development is important, and what happens actually during clinical trial, the whatever information is coming back, the scientist should work accordingly, so that if anything wrong is wrong or not efficacious is happening, how to improve that. So it is a simultaneous effect, like clinical trial area you have to get, or preclinical area, the animal testing. All these things are not available in the medical device area. Medical device may we do it by predicate device concept, that is uh, like 510K in USA.
Right. Great.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Uh, Sir, there are a lot of CDMOs and CROs actually which are being set up in the country, especially a lot of global inquiries are happening for biopharma, and we find more and more CDMOs actually at the marketplace.
Huh.
Now, even CROs are actually brought under regulation only very recently. CDSCO has brought them. Earlier, BAB
CRO,
centers
CRO,
were there.
CRO.
CROs, yeah,
No,
CRO,
CRO registration,
yeah.
Clinical Research Organization registration, that will start in somewhere in April in 2025.
Yes, they've just announced only now. How about CDMOs? Actually, do we recognize these models? Because there is something which needs clarity in the market. Contract manufacturers, CDMOs, original manufacturers, on the labeling, packaging, all those issues. Now, lot of CDMOs, see, these are all the concepts of the US, which we are finding the same models in India. But how is it CDMO is being recognized? US FDA, they have a recognition process for all this.
US FDA we cannot compare with CDSU. Na? US FDA has maybe 10,000 employees.
Mhm.
But now with Trump's coming in, now the job cut is going to happen. There is a news today
Mm,
that they will lay off many people from the US FDA also.
mm, mm,
They don't want that much of the bureaucracy.
mm,
So,
mm.
and CDSCO only 200, 300 people are working, and all
Okay.
are pharmacy graduate, as you know. And
Ah,
in this area, many other disciplines people should be welcomed, actually,
mm,
even statistician also,
mm. It
biostatisticians.
requires. The
And
question, yeah.
CDMO, this concept is
Ah,
okay to
yeah.
regulate properly. You can
Yes.
segment the things, you can segment, and then you have to, at the same time, the inspectorate staff
Yeah.
skilling
Mm,
capacity has to be developed.
mm,
So somehow it is not happening.
mm, 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 mm. That is why, because biopharma space, lot of FDIs investments, private equity investments are also happening in the country. So that is the reason who's going to check. Even CRO's announcement was made now. Even CDMOs, I think it's high time at least some kind of a registration process has to happen. Who is operating where, on what, and all those things are required. That is the
The
reason.
moment government starts registration process,
Mm,
the government automatically by default there is a responsibility comes upon government
yes.
that when you are registering, giving some certain kind of certificate to a CRO or a company, it is your responsibility to monitor in the market how they are operating.
Mm.
So that much capacity government does not have.
Markets are very.
So it is a actually this CRO should be registered long back. Supreme
Yes.
Court case on clinical trial in the Honorable Justice of Dr. Lodha. Dr. Lodha, I think. Sorry, not Dr. Lodha, Justice Lodha. He is now retired. So that Supreme Court case on clinical trial issues that you are using human bodies as a guinea pigs in India, a lot of parliament debates happened during 2012, 13, 14. Eh, So at that time only the CRO should be registered. So now it is almost 10 years have passed. Now we are going to register only CRO. CDMO, CDSO is not yet thought of.
Right.
Yes,
Clarity wanted.
we can do many things to happen, but it's not happening because of the capacity building is important in government sector also. Or you can hire the others capacity like in medical device sector, A and B risk classes are given to the notified bodies. Now it is a private practice. We have to rely upon the notified bodies functioning. But at the same time, government has a duty to monitor how these notified bodies are functioning in the market. So those things are challenges.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Very insightful presentation on biopharma. Actually, a lot of learning for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other questions? No.
So
No questions
s-
from the audience
I think
also.
we can move ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So
So
Thank you.
because I
Thank
think
you so much.
leave off. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
okay. Yes, Mr. Hibang. Thank you. Mr. Hibang says nice presentation. Sumrat sir, you can stop sharing the screen.
Sir is there. Yes. I think he logged. Yeah. He logged. Yes.
Okay, great. So that was nice and a lot of insights for all of us, especially for the biopharma. And I think this is a really an emerging field, which a lot of people I think would be entering in future and exploring. And as I understand that the CRO and the registrations happening in 2025, so that means this is actually the future to be in for all the people looking for diversification. Okay,
Actually,
so,
in
so
this
coming,
field, uh, I have means discussion point of view. Okay, actually, in this field, there are a lot of regulation like a pharma, means data integrity kind of things, and then right now the we are facing through impurities, lot of nitrosamine impurity or xenotoxic impurity, that type of things. So, and this is a high value product. So that's the reason India takes a lot of time to produce biological products, and that require a lot of investment.
okay, great, great. Okay. So
Yeah.
again, without taking much time, madam, I think we are now moving to the second part of it, which is the panel discussion, wherein we have all the respected speakers. So let's quickly move to the panel discussion part, and wherein we are now talking about biopharma, biologics. We have discussed on the scenario, the landscape. So I think Somnath sir had good experience, and I'll come to Sunil sir to start with. Since you carry good amount of experience right from medical device to an experience on pharma, and he was talking about Cadila. So you can be no other person better than you to talk about Cadila and how the landscape has been developing over the last 25, 30 years for pharma and medical device, since you since you carry experience for both the sectors, sir. Please, to start with you, sir.
Thanks, Bhupeshji. Thanks, everyone. I have seen the transition since I was one of the very early entrant into medical devices from pharmaceutical. Started with Alembic. Being a microbiologist, definitely the initial choice available during those days was the company which is into antibiotics and the similar products. So I started with Alembic, worked with Zydus Cadila for some time, and then with Novartis. So Novartis, it was pharmaceutical and medical devices because we were dealing with Sandoz devices also. So it was a transition point. Then we entered into uh, Becton Dickinson, Polymed. Then I joined Nipro. All throughout, mainly into marketing and sales domain. But Nipro was the area where I got an opportunity to, to be one of the core members to make the investment of almost 900 crore rupees during those days to set up a manufacturing unit in Pune, in Sherwood, where we set up a first dialyzer unit. And that was also a time when, dialyzer was not notified, and we had to meet Dr. GN Singh to make sure that the product is notified so that we are in position to give a required certification for export. But we had a lot of difficulties in doing so. But fortunately now, most of the devices are covered. Things have changed since then. But still, see, what I'm going to do is the overview.
Yeah. So, like, sir, just to carry on with the same question, I think with Mr. Nitin, how would he think or about the same? Like we talked about biologics, and now with his background and experience in pharma, how does he think that the sector moves on, and what is the future for the biopharma and the pharmaceuticals as we talk about the regulations? So, just a quick overview from you, Mr. Nitin.
Okay, India is a completely pharma hub. Okay, and for biologics as well, it goes hand in hand. Those who manufacture pharmaceutical products, they can manufacture medical device and biological products as well because they know all the rules and regulations. That is the case. Means we saw the number of slides. Means, what is the name of that person? Somnath. Yeah, Somnath
Yeah.
Yeah.
sir showed us about
Yes.
the yeah. So there are a lot of multinational and Indian big players. Okay. And if you go through the recent 483 means warning letters and all these things, there India highlighted through okay data integrity point of view. Now Sunil is also worked in Novartis and I also work in Novartis, so I know the the people looking at the okay quality of the product. They think okay the product come from Novartis or GSK, it means we have to take blindly.
Yes.
So that kind of things. Now we have better future as a Indian, and as a India is a growing country, and for biopharmaceutical, yes, we have the good opportunity or better future for new generation as well and new field. But I'm emphasizing on more on medical device because okay we can produce more medical device related products rather than biopharmaceutical because biopharmaceutical are a highly costly product. It's the high end value product. That is the case.
Okay, okay, great. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Nitin.
Thank, thank you, thank
Yeah.
you.
So let's speak to Dr. Alpesh, who comes with a background of genomics, genome sequencing. Welcome, Dr. Alpesh. And I think because yours is a very different sector, which very few of us know about. So I'll request you to first give an overview of like with what background and what are we talking about for all of us. Sir, unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
for the introduction,
yes.
and thanks for the giving the opportunity to share the some of the work that we are doing. Basically, we are in the genetic diagnostics, so we take care of the patient point of view. Like for example, in oncology, if somebody is prescribing the targeted drug, so that targeted drug is based on the targets which we diagnosed in the laboratory based on the now we have the next generation sequencing and the high end technologies are available. So initial days where we are taking too long time to do the diagnostics, based specifically genetic diagnostics, it's not available in the many of the part of the India. Now I think we are working in more than 20 different cities across the India, and it's now available easily for all the part of in country. So yes, I think we have a lecture in Hyderabad with the Dr. Ashwin Dalal. He is the director of the CDFD. He has shown that major of the cities of the India now the genetic diagnosis is available. So what we basically we doing is to identify the targets for the oncology. Same way we identify the problems in the DNA of the human because of which the disease is either it is progressing or it is there in the individual. So that is our work. So starting from the smallest technology like karyotyping for fish to we have the higher end sequencers which can do the sequencing till the 8 TB of the data. And integrating these state-of-the-art facility, we do the lots of research on the CRISPR. So, like I think Dr. Somnath has mentioned that the CRISPR is a technology which working in the cancer and the biopharma. So, the drug therapeutic drugs, if you aware about the drugs for the SMA, which is available for the spinal muscular atrophy. That drug is, it's huge. It's a very high cost when it was launched. It's approximately 16 crores per injection for one individual. So I think now the Israel and other countries also come in the picture. Now it is a little bit reduced. So somewhere around 4 to 5 CR per shot. It's required once in a life, but it's not that much efficacy is not that much developed. So in the same line, the genomics is intervened like CRISPR technology can edit the genome, so you don't require the drug throughout the life. So in the sickle cell patients, the clinical trials is under already there in the UK, where they have successfully developed the CRISPR-based machinery, which can correct the genome of the human in the bone marrow, and then they can get the healthy RBCs, which can now be able to transport the oxygen in all the parts of the body. So initial, which is not there because of the hemoglobin is not properly produced because of the mutations in the valine position of the sixth position of the HBV gene. So these complete diagnostics and the machinery which is required to, build for, for the clinical trial that we have. So we work on the genomics aspect. So we have one project with the Syngene also where we are, autologous stem cells we are developing. We are re-engineering we using the CRISPR-based technology, and that can be transplanted into the back to the patient, and patient can be cured. So that kind of work we are doing. Yeah.
Okay, great. Great, sir. Thank you. And I think it will be very beneficial even for the people who are looking at this post we finish, because it will give
Yeah.
them a lot of insight into what is actually happening in India. Because a lot of people don't
Yeah.
know like how we are progressing, and especially the genome area, genome
Yeah.
and genome sequencing and
Yeah.
diagnostics. I think, yes, sir,
What
please.
what our experiences are in the, like, we are working with the Zydus, as we are in Ahmedabad, we are working with the Zydus, Intas, and other pharmaceuticals also. They do some genomic work, but not directly to intervene or development of the some new products or new molecules, only to support the existing, if they have some drug for the diabetes and they want to check that, okay, the what is the expression, or does it cause the genomic level any changes or not, that is being done. But I think it's still a newer aspects for pharmaceutical industry, also for the how the genome can intervene and
Right.
develop the new targets. Yeah.
Great, great. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Alpesh.
Yeah,
I
thank
think
you.
with good in discussion on pharma and biopharma, let's shift a little bit towards medical devices, and
Yeah.
let's understand from the entrepreneur, Mr. Nishant, like how do you feel? Because I think you have been the youngest one as in the entrepreneur journey, as we talk about, right? So your experience and how the landscape has been, and how is the future that you look at in terms of the medical device domain, and especially the sector that you're working on as prosthetics.
So before I start, I really wanted to work once at Eli Lilly company. When I was studying at my back in my school, I used to get taught that insulin is being produced by that company, and it was a wonderful session learning that Indian companies are also coming up with these biopharma machines. So coming to the medical devices, I'm trained as a mechanical engineer, and I started the company in 2020 at IIT Kanpur. This was my MSc research thesis. And before that, I was working with Bajaj Auto, which is a leading automobile manufacturer. So I understood that there are a lot of quality manuals and device regulations that they also follow. And the principles around the manufacturing and assembly line is similar to what automobile is doing and what other medical devices companies are doing. Because there are people who have excellent response during the COVID-19 times where they were, although they were automobile or a different sector, but they started manufacturing medical devices or components of medical devices. So, as a part of Engineering for Change by ASME, I was compiling a report in COVID response and how these companies or young startups were responding to these medical devices or manufacturing locally. And that's how the CDSCO and role of all these governing bodies came into picture. And I even got to know that during that period, many new regulations were being formed, some for short time, as well as many of the things were redefined. But in medical devices, especially in prosthetics, it comes in class 2 medical devices. There are a lot of hurdles and definitions which are pending. So when we were applying for CDSCO test license, we were not sure how many patients we have to try on. There was no literature around it, and even CDSCO couldn't guide us. So we were going to the Delhi headquarters of theirs, asking for what are the documents and what are the literature and desk research that we have to do before we can apply or write an application. So we came with the number. We asked some of the consultant of ours that 25 is the number that is something that they are willing to do, and even CDSU approved that. So and it was a very challenging journey, starting with the paperwork and all the way to the follow-ups, mistakes in the application form. It took us around 3 to 4 months. And we are lucky that we got it in 3 to 4 months, because I have seen other startups struggling for a year or so to get this kind of license on their own without any external help.
Oh,
Secondly, the product that we are talking about is in 2019 or so, it was changed from class A to class B. And even there is though no specific literature on how electromechanical prosthetic device and a mechanical prosthetic device should be categorized different. So I can say that many of the companies that I'm talking to who are into prosthetics, they make mechanical prosthetics as well, and they have registered their product in Class A, which is very much less stringent as compared to Class B medical devices. So if we have known that earlier, because we are also doing a mechanical hand, we could have started the paperwork or the journey on the certifications very early on. So maybe there should be common platform. I know that MedTech Mitra program has been initiated where they're calling all the young founders and be a part of the discussions. And many such programs should be very helpful in young companies like us to get the clearance done.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So thank you, Nishadji. I think moving on in the similar field, Dr. Karnav, and he has been the now running the or hosting means leading Salvo India. So can I request Dr. Karnav to share his journey and how has been his stint from being a doctor to an entrepreneur?
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, ma'am, for providing me this opportunity, this panel discussion. So for me, it was a very different journey. I graduated in dentistry. Then I pursued my master's in maxillofacial surgery. And then I pursued my career in head and neck cancer surgeries. So that gave me a very diverse experience and understanding of both dental field as well as medical field. And being a Gujarati, eventually I knew that somehow I might end up doing business. So they say that entrepreneurship is in blood here. And somehow I left my job back in 2016, and has it was in 2020 when we started our journey at Salvo. I started by helping few companies in getting approvals for the masks during COVID. And at that point of time, I used to make a lot of videos and post that how could things be done in a better way. And my doctor friends started advising that when you have the technical knowledge of these things, why don't you start supplying these things? And we started from home, and slowly we grew, and now we are doing substantial work. We are a CDSU licensed company, and believe me, getting a CDSU license is better than getting master degree in medicine. Means it is difficult, much more difficult than getting any thesis work. My when I was doing my post graduation, I thought thesis is tough, or all the postgraduates think that thesis is tough. But believe me, getting CDSU license is tougher, or the amount of paperwork involved, the standards. And see, one of the best things what I found in these things is that uh, we as a country are changing. More doctors are getting involved in these things, and it's a good sign because we are a totally import-driven country in terms of medical device. And I think if more doctors, clinicians get involved, I think this will definitely help the total ecosystem to develop in a better manner. And I think standardization also, because my understanding of sterilization has definitely helped me and my company a lot. We do get a lot of feedback from doctors that they are very happy using sterile products and the way we supply them. So yes, this journey has been enthralling, and it's a great learning curve. I think I have a lot to learn, at least in terms of how to develop more things, because medical device is a very vast field. I don't think one human being can cover things in one life. But it's great to come across a lot of people and learn a lot new things. So this is in brief about what we do.
Okay, great. Great, Dr. Kanav. And now coming to Mr. Nitin, who has been like a torchbearer for people, and he has got a lot of experience. What would be your advice, because you have that experience in sourcing, where people struggle about identification of the vendors and what kind of points they should be taking care when they are sourcing their raw materials, whether it is pharma, whether it is medical. So what would be your advice to people when they are identifying the vendors and onboarding the vendors and then maintaining relationships? So how would you look at those aspects?
Basically, I am from the quality background.
Right.
So from my point of view, is completely different from the procurement point of view. Uh, when we start the audit, that time we just go at the vendor, or we look at the vendor as per specification part. means how that vendor is suitable for my company or my organization or XY organization. And another aspect is that product is already any other supplier is supplying to my company or not, because we don't want dependency on one supplier. Okay, that's the reason we are creating one and more supplier, but not more than three suppliers. Okay, and at the same times we maintain the quality of that specific product, how that product is effective and how they maintain the quality. And on that front, we charge the means procurement charge the money, the quality of the product. If they are giving the good quality product and at the same time they are charging more, then that is helpful for the organization sometimes. And sometimes what the organizations are developing the suppliers, means they're okay, some suppliers they work with the suppliers hand to hand, means like a quality people like us, they work with the suppliers, and that organizations are procuring the material at a cheaper price. So I'm just giving the brief background. And
Right, right.
right
So
now,
this is like the advice which you would be giving to the entrepreneurs and people who are setting up their units, identifying the vendors, like what mistakes normally they might be doing when they identify with the vendors, because QA becomes a very critical perspective rather than just focusing on the cost part of it or the L1 part of it.
exactly. So from the uh, entrepreneur point of view, they have to look their turnover they are supplying to which customer. The main important part is, because if they are supplying to okay quality suppliers or customers, so that times you can believe on their data. And apart from that, you can look into the last 3 to 4 years complaint, their complaint. I'm just giving the brief background.
Right,
On
right.
the
Yes.
basis of the complaint, on the basis of the complaint review, you get the complete idea whether they are doing good or not.
Right. I think that is a very important aspect which Mr. Nitin has shared, and probably that can be one master stroke when you look at a vendor, that kind of complaints he has been getting in the past. So when you are approving him or identifying him, it becomes a very critical aspect. And I think coming back to Sunil sir, uh, if means all said and done, when we make the product, we source it, we get good results out of it. I think one journey for every entrepreneur and every manufacturer is, whether we are talking about biopharma, is identification of markets and commercialization of products, right? And the similar thing is with Nishant also, because he's made a good product. But now, if I ask you, like, what about the commercialization and your go-to-market strategies? So, what do you think? How would you advise entrepreneurs and people who are making good products, whether it's medical or pharma? But what would be your advice to the go-to-market strategies? Yes. So maybe Sunil sir, you can start, and Nishant ji, you can follow. Sir, mute Sunil sir.
Not audible, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
clear now.
yes.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I was on a break for.
So, Sunil sir, my only very basic thing for all means, we make a good products, we make good quality products, we source from good vendors. So, what would be your advice to people who are looking for good markets, the go-to-market strategies, the commercialization part of it?
See, my
How
experience
would you
is that yes, I agree.
approach?
I fully endorse your point that yes, we are making very high quality products. But see, unless the user is not convinced, still most of the users they feel pride in saying that yes, we are using make in India cars and other things. But when it comes to medical devices, they are reluctant in using India-made medical devices. See, still, if you look into a lot of products, including say IV cannula and central venous catheters, Foley's catheters, IV cannula, we are willing to pay say 75 rupees, 80 rupees for Venflon or BD, but the product which is available made by say Indian companies for 10 rupees, 15 rupees, there are many set of doctors who are not inclined towards buying that. Same is the case with implants. Still, a lot of doctors have fascination towards multinational companies. There are excellent implant manufacturers in India. So that awareness, or I don't know how to inculcate that, you know, soft corner for Indian companies amongst doctors.
So probably the regulations and their
Not only
confidence.
regulation, let me tell you, um, uh, if you are buying a multinational company's product, the margins are higher because the selling price is high for doctors. So this is one of the area. Maybe see Johnson and Johnson. If you remember, multi-billion-dollar compensation was given for that joint implants, faulty joint implants. That itself confirms that no company can make foolproof medical device. Medical device, when it comes to mechanical things, there is every possibility of having some or other kind of issue. 100% based on my experience into medical devices, 100% conviction cannot be achieved by any company. So
Okay.
giving that benefit of doubt to all the manufacturers, including Indian and multinational, I think if this mindset is changed and more Indian entrepreneurs are given the kind of sales revenue which they deserve, then the overall scenario will change. When we are talking about import substitute, see, as Dr. Bhupesh, you know, we have set up a manufacturing unit, and we were looking for some innovative product. We were talking to a lot of multinational companies from Israel and France. We wanted to manufacture a product here, but those companies were reluctant to tie up with us. They felt that once it is made as made in India product, probably they will not be able to get the kind of revenue which they are looking for.
Okay. So,
And
sir, from the
second
other.
thing is, hand holding is something which is missing here. See, we may have a lot of bodies like AIMED and various other bodies. But I've been very vocal about this. One of the area where a lot of young entrepreneurs, they are missing is hand holding. During the recent biotechnology seminar in Pragati Maidan in Delhi, I met three of young budding entrepreneurs and innovators who were literally crying. Sir, I've been running around and I don't know under which class this product comes to. It was two boys were from Bangalore. One developed some cancer related machine under incubation from Indian Institute of Science, and he didn't had clarity. Then there was another boy who developed this hemostatic granules, and he was not sure whether it will fall under class B or class C, because Axiostat comes under class B and Celox, which is imported from US, comes under class C. It is registered as class C. So when I told him to meet Mr. Sahu, he met, and still, things are not very clear to him.
Oh,
So
great.
they are made to think that things will not happen automatically. Something has to be done to make it
It's
happen.
like more efforts we need to put in and maybe
But
better understanding.
beyond
So let's,
efforts, what
yes.
I'm saying today, beyond efforts, something has to be done too. This is the kind of impression these boys are getting. A 25 years, 24 years old boy.
So maybe let's
See,
hear from Nishant also, like how he feels when he talks about commercialization at the end of the day.
No, I completely agree with Sunil sir on the mentality of customers on Indian products. I'll put 3 points which I faced during my product journey from for go to market. So when I was pitching the product, they were handling the product very roughly. So I assume that the sensors are to be sensitive and fragile, but they are holding it in a way that it cannot be used again, or they are unpacking the device in a such a way that they don't care. But the moment it is an imported product, they will take extra care They'll read the instructions manual first and then proceed with the product. This is not the case with Indian products and the mentality and the feedback that we got from the customers. Second is they are not aware of what are the certifications required in India and why imported products have CE marking. So I have been applying to a lot of tenders and government portals, even talking to directors and principals of major rehab centers in India. They want the product to be CE certified for them to adapt it, but it is not required in India. So they are not aware that CE is for European market and things like that. So awareness is an issue. And third
Yeah.
is, as Sunil sir mentioned, that it is on the margin as well. Whenever we make a product in India, we try to reduce the cost bill of material so that it is more affordable. But it is not like by many of the stakeholders. I would say that private clinics they are hesitant on having lower MRP because they want to have higher margin. So the moment we reduce the MRP and we offer some margin to them, then also they are not ready to accept the product because the imported product is costing almost 10x. So they want the good margin to be there and they want to use the imported products. So this is also happening with the prosthetics that we are making. And but slowly there are many good clinicians and rehab centers who really like to have a good service model. So there is also a plus in Make in India product that we can deliver the product much faster. There is less import duty. The number of repairs are less, and even the in 7 working days, which we are pitching. So both the things are there.
Okay, great. Thank you, Nishanji. Can we have Dr. Alpesh? And yeah, Dr. Alpesh. So to hear from you, like since your field is also relatively new and less understood by the Indian ecosystem, how has been your challenges and the journey, sir, till now? So you can unmute yourself.
So for the diagnostic field, per se, if we say that total number of Indian companies are like those who are doing completely only on genetics is 15, or you can count on fingers, not more than 20. So which is catering those who are catering to the 120 million population of India. So it's not that it is still difficult. But what we as we are discussing that what is the Indian product versus the imported product. So experiences like if you see in my laboratory, all the machines in fact all the diagnostic setup laboratories, all the machines are from the imported. Not even single biochemistry analyzer or that is being manufactured. I don't know. I don't have any name that I can put it, but not manufactured in India. But definitely in China, many of them are manufactured, but still not that much popular. So the thing is the reliability and reproducibility. That what the basic concept for the consumer that needs to be there for the when it is comes to the life of the patient. So that is considered first priority, and then comes for the margin and all those. So it's already there because we also faced similar issues when we are putting our product to the clinician, that how we are better, how the Indian company is better than the we are working with the international clients. So then we have proved that, madam or sir, that you can taste us. Like you can put the samples, you can split the samples and give it to both of us, and we can prove it at par. And then we have proven in the many of the cases that we are, as accurate as the other companies. And we, as being in the part of the industry, we have visited the other part of the countries like US and Europe also. So the quality standard is not per se, it's more or less similar. But only the thing is that whatever the procedures and the protocols that we follow, that that is very stringent, and that there is no bypass for the in the other regulations, like if it's the US regulation or the Europe regulations. But if we do it here in India, we have the people like to take the some shortcuts, bypasses. That's why the somehow somewhere the quality compromises. Initially we don't know that this quality is compromised, but later on that the larger scale will come to know, okay, this is because of the some of the loopholes that we have left, because of that the quality is compromised. So basically, it's like if we keep on the quality, like if we say that non-medical devices, we say that there are good companies who can produces very good So same way, like if same companies are manufactured here in, I think in near Surat in Gujarat, so they are doing good. So like the same way, if the quality is there and that, then the margin and the other things will be the secondary, and the people will accept faster, because at the end of the day, everyone wants a cheaper healthcare services. So this is how it goes. So I think majorly, if we focus on the quality, people will accept.
Right. So, thank you, Dr. Alpesh. And I think the message for all of us here, because for us, especially India, still we are a very evolving market, although as I understand that we are one of the largest consumer in Southeast Asia. For the world, we are one of the largest market. But for the market, we are still not the largest manufacturers.
Yeah, manufacturers. Yeah,
So
that's
I
correct.
picked two very important words. What you said is reliability and reproducibility, right? And
Yeah,
I think that goes with every sector. So if we are making products which are reliable and the process which is reproducible, right, which produces a similar kind of products over a period of time, so that gives confidence to the buyers. And I think, like we are rightly saying, make in India, make for the world. And I
yeah,
think as the scenario is changing, so probably as we graduate and a lot of people like Dr. Karnav and Mr. Nishant come up to take the lead, like, so
yeah,
they're well qualified for their own field and they are here with good backgrounds, yourself leading genomics. And so I feel the scenario is changing, and Sunil sir will agree that probably, sir, in another 5 to 10 years, we'll lot of unicorns in health and medical. That is the way I look at it, right? We use the term in other sectors, but for medical, yes, I feel that we'll be having unicorns in times to come. And
yeah,
See, unicorns, there is definitely, our industry deserves a lot of unicorns,
yes, yeah,
but a conducive environment has to be created. See, let us take an example of Nishant ji. He is innovator. He is supposed to focus on innovation. Now, what kind of problem he will encounter the moment he enters into entrepreneurship role? Now, he is busy in developing a product. Now, he is concerned about the finances, funds. He is concerned about the regulatory aspect of it. He is concerned about the labor related issues. He is concerned about the sales. Any person, so either he will employ those people. If he has a faulty salesperson, he will end up losing money. If he is having faulty regulatory advisor, he will again land up in problem. So the only option available with him is he would like to have one partner from sales background, one partner from regulatory, or someone. So he will have a team of 2, 3 people, 4 people. Then
right.
all the side effects of a partnership firm comes into play.
So I think, sir, this is now more of like where we are talking about our entrepreneurship ecosystem building up and people graduating and
This exactly
understanding.
is something which is required to be done. I
Yes.
am talking, I still feel hand holding is something which is critical. Hand holding at the level of
I'll just
CDS
add
level.
up a word. I
We
think
don't
Rama
need
madam will,
inspectors. We need helpers. We need supporters. We
and I
need
think,
medical
sir, we,
devices supporter or maybe partner or someone of that nature. Because the moment you have an inspector, he will feel he is there to bully the person and he is there to extract the money. His role is not to handhold. He's least bothered about his revenue. In fact, they should also be given a target. See, if there is a medical device officer or supporter or partner, and if he is having 10 companies under him, and the combined revenue of that company is 100 crore rupees, for example, then his target should also be 100 crore rupees. So that every
so Sunil
year,
sir, just
the
Sunil sir,
pardon,
one important thing, I think what your comments are, and I think Rama madam will be quite interested because she has been a very good bridge between all the forums and all the government bodies. So probably I think we need one more session on that particular topic because she has been the torchbearer in this particular area. So probably we'll have one more discussion with her separately. She has been a very effective, I'll say, very effective bridge between voicing the concerns of the industry to various forums because she's been well connected there also. And with all due respect,
Yeah.
I understand
I've been hearing her voice in AIMED.
Yes. So, Nitinji, one last word from you for all the entrepreneurs and people who are listening to us, and maybe who listen after this also, because these are available post we finish. Yeah.
From quality and business go hand in hand. If you have good quality product, your business grow like anything. That is a simple thing. Like paracetamol, blindly will take the crocin because we have the faith and from the kid to elder man or woman, they directly take the crocin. Colgate, we don't know toothpaste. We know the Colgate. That is a brand. So everything, but I'm sure like Nishant and all young entrepreneurs, they have the better future. It takes time because everybody, India is growing. Apart from that, Indian people are also educating themselves because everything is go like data integrity and all those things stuff. Because I'm from the pharma background, I know the biopharmaceutical and all these things. That's the reason I know that terminology. But at the same time, small entrepreneur and new entrepreneur, they want to engage into that, so they have to create the team like that, because without team they cannot run the company or good company. New organization depend on the good people, good quality qualified people. That's it. But
Right, right.
best of luck for the young entrepreneur, frankly speaking.
Okay. Thank you, Nitinji.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so one last word from Dr. Alpesh, I think, and then we can give it to audience if they have any questions.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Alpesh. So what is your message to people who would be listening to this here or maybe after this?
So, like as we discussed for the medical devices, it's in the healthcare sector. If you see the number of laboratories across the country for pathology laboratories are many. So, if somebody will venture into the it's like small bioanalyzer or small analyzers like blood, simple like blood cell counter. These like is very small technology that can be marketed well in India, and we can take a proud of that. It's a Indian manufactured product, and eventually it's a very huge market. I'm talking to the when I'm meeting to my colleagues or the directors or the those who are working, they have more than 200 300 crores of business. They are with me the other day, so I'm discussing that all the money what we are earning, we are giving at least 40 to 50% to the US market because all the machines are coming from there. So rather than that, if you manufacture here in India, it's really a good way. And definitely, if the quality is consistent, people will procure at the end of the day.
Okay, great. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. So I think before we call it, let's quickly hear if any of the audience has any questions to any of the panelists. So anybody in the audience who would like or have any questions?
There's
Those
one question in the chat box, please. Akshay Patel.
yes. So I think he had raised a concern that if CDSC was not classified, so Sunil said that in fact he had asked you that how would you think that we can classify if CDSC was not classified? So it's
There
like
there
anybody can
is
answer. In fact, anybody can answer that if classification is not there. So what advice would you give to the person who's making a new product to
see
approach?
there is a email ID which is startup innov@cdsu.nic.in. They can write a mail to them and they will respond.
So Sunil sir,
And
can you just put that in the chat box? So if
yeah,
anybody wants to.
I've given already.
Okay.
Another, this is actually for the startups. Okay. When there's an innovator, they can write, but even otherwise, if a manufacturer feels that this is a question which comes up regularly in the medical devices forums, it is under which category it comes, it doesn't fit here, or this is not found at all. So generally they say that, you write to they have given some common CDSCO IDs also on the website. They can even write there. This is actually for startups, dedicated PROs are there and innovators also they have created. If startup feels that his product needs to be covered and listed, they can write. Even otherwise, there is a common ID in the CDSCO portal.
Okay, great. So any other participants I can see Mitesh sir, Richa madam, Shripad sir there. If anybody has any question, Mr. Yash, Mr. Vijay, Govindan, any of the panelists. Okay, so Rama madam, I think over to you now.
You were asking just a quick poll, Aarti. Can you please share the poll? We'll request, request you all just to participate in this poll, please.
So all the participants,
All the participants, just request you to take the poll. Just only 3 questions. Can you see the poll? Request you all to participate. Take the poll.
so now participants can switch on their mic saying yes or no, or they can put on the chat box.
Either way, they can actually do it. Just 2 more minutes. Request you all to participate. Okay, Aarti, we can close it. No issues. You can, yeah. Share the results. Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
And we will also compile each session key takeaways, and it will take time because till first week of December, we have this month-long series. And after that, each and every session's key takeaways will be compiled, and there will be a digital news letter which will be prepared, and it will be circulated to all with key takeaways from each one of your sessions. So this is one way of connecting you all to the industry, and industry also getting to know about speakers and the products and services. More than all this, your thought leadership that you're sharing also will be communicated. So it's going to take, it's a cumbersome process because with about 13, 14 sessions, but we wanted to do it because there's one way of reaching out to those who couldn't attend it. Even I was mentioning all this when we publish all the videos. I think it was aerospace and defense session. I could see about 160 participants were watching it later online, and then industrial machinery. I saw what happens when we communicate, circulate to all. Everybody is watching these videos, and they're also trying to understand and learn. And all these conversations, key takeaways from this panel discussion, like uh, the pain points of a make in India manufacturer not being recognized in the country, the pain points of an innovator actually who's really opted to choose travel on a different path, and then he's still struggling to get that market access, go to market access, and the challenges are plenty. And we, coming from a domain called standard certifications and regulations, this is a constant challenge we see. What a large manufacturer can comply with, and medium-sized business to some extent, where the micro and small cannot meet, especially in a regulated sector. I always quote this in many forums, Bhupesh ji knows. In a regulated sector, micro and small survival is very tough. And it needs a certain scale to operate in all these regulated structures. Like Biopharma, Mr. Somnath Basu was repeatedly saying it requires huge capex and investments. That is what is needed. And unfortunately, we had in our country for years where we have created, especially, the last 1 decade, what we have seen is more and more minimum standards are introduced in the country. See, minimum standards are introduced to ensure that businesses develop some kind of business discipline and adopting certain good practices. And over a period of time, they will scale gradually to the next level. Unfortunately, what has happened is That has not happened. Minimum standard remained minimum standard even after 10 years. So the appetite of the businesses to improve scale to the next level is also lagging. And then suddenly what happened post-COVID, when there is a supply chain disruption in the global market, there are a lot of opportunities that came in the way of the small businesses also. We get this request in many chambers of commerce and business forums. We have got an order. They are asking for this certificate, that certificate. We don't know what it is. So it is that is the unfortunately the level of understanding in entrepreneurship. At times we say that technocrat entrepreneurship is fine because somebody has built something, building something, he knows what it is. In other domains where it is not run by technocrat entrepreneurs and run by management teams, nothing wrong, but their understanding of a technical regulations is not that good actually. So it's not just a certificate like Nitin was saying repeatedly in his conversation. These are called standards, whether you call them quality, safety, in future they're called sustainability. The standards keep changing. That compliance is very critical. Now, what happened is the conversation we are picking up in all the business corridors. Small and micro businesses are fighting, picking up fights. They are saying we are following the standards in the country, and we are told that this is a global, this meets global norms. These standards are international, and suddenly you're saying that we are nowhere in the picture, and you are asking us to upgrade. This is what was happened with pharma quality now in the country. Whatever pharma quality framework that was introduced in the country many years ago was actually a minimum standard. And today, when you're raising the standard, it is not even 100% complying to a international GMP. It is still somewhat closer, maybe 60-70%. But now the industry and businesses are fighting, saying that it's very tough to implement. It calls for a lot of capex investments, technical infrastructure. That is why we say whether it is a food or a healthcare products or whatever it is, when the standards compliance have to be met, when the certain technical regulations are very stringent, everybody will find it tough. A startup today will not remain a startup forever, right? Requires slow investments, infusion of more capital, increasing your size and all that. The challenges will continue because the brand India has to really make a strong pitch in the markets. And fortunately, brand India has got a better acceptance in the markets outside India, but not within India. This is where it is. That is why our users always feel that, we need something better. We need an imported product and all that, but things are changing. Last few years, equations are changing. There is an acceptance that for the Indian products, there are investments happening, especially sector agnostic manufacturing investments are going up. I personally feel, I keep saying this, the next 10-15 years is advantage India for us to prove our capabilities in the various domains that we are in. And markets will see more and more trade wars in the name of standard certifications, market access norms, and this will continue. This will only intensify. Businesses will find it very tough. More and more regulations are being imposed, and US is now moving in the other direction. Mr. Basu has mentioned that where they're going to actually kind of dismantle a lot of federal structures, the regulatory structures in the country, because it's too overwhelming for the businesses. One after another, one after another, and all the time we are talking about regulations. And globally, the whole of this world quality month, the focus on the global market now is global level is to move from compliance to performance. This is the global call of action given for the World Quality Month. So much of kind of a stickiness that we have developed to compliances, and it is affecting the business performances. So we keep joking whether it has to be the performance beyond compliance or performance via compliance kind of a conversations. There are nice key takeaways from this panel discussion, which we can also compile and share with all. And sometimes some of these things, key takeaways, we also quote with some conversations with regulators and policymakers saying that, these are all the things coming from the horse's mouth and need to be addressed. So I would like to thank you all for joining this session. Thanks to Bhupesh ji for taking time out of his routine, and then he was actually working on this. And I must thank all the speakers and the participants today for this session. We used to have actually isolated conversations, biomedical separately, pharma separately, and we really wanted to have a confluence of minds today. That is why we have created two sessions today on bioeconomy. Morning session we had on biofuel, bioindustrial, bioenergy, and biotech, actually bioagri morning session. Afternoon we have clubbed biomedical, biopharma, and bioservices. For the simple reason is we want to a regulator is common. There are many players who are common manufacturers under the same. So we really wanted to have multiple thought processes and your views here. It was very meaningful conversation, and I would say an intellectual conversation also. So we will keep inviting you all in future, as and when there is an opportunity. Bhupesh will reach out to you. We will create more conversations on bioeconomy because the country is committed to bioeconomy, and investments will happen slowly. Not only investments in the country, we will attract a lot of global investments into this place, and so we will do more and more conversations on different topics, wide range of topics, and all of us are also are very serious about promoting Make in India and the innovators in India and the startups who are born in India. And there are multiple challenges that they are subject to, not just the technical regulations. Your financial regulations are becoming much more stringent for the businesses, including the startups. So it's very tight regulatory environment, and but moving forward, we will see more and more regulations also. So businesses have to continue to learn to live with all this, and then beyond all this, they need to do their business also. Let us see what best we can do through these conversations, and to create some intellectual space in all this, and appropriate places we can share this with the policymakers also. So CCC will continue to do these conversations. We do all these conversations on key occasions like some World Standards Day, Accreditation Day, this day, that day. This month is actually Quality Month. That is why we are doing the sessions, because quality is here to stay. The quality standards will only go up, safety standards will only go up. And now the markets are moving into sustainability standards, and the sustainable bioeconomy is the global call of action. So thank you so much once again for joining us, and to all the audience. Anybody has any questions, any information is needed, please write to us. We will get back to you. Thank you. Thank you, Bhupesh, once again.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thanks for being a part of it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll log off. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank
Bye. Bye.